This is the Black Lives Don't Matter podcast. That's what I said. Black lives don't matter. What kind of up podcast is this? Black lives don't matter? Really? Man, who is this dude? Black guy? Wait, so a black man got a podcast called Black Lives Don't Matter. It's like President Obama waving the rebel flag. I done seen it all now. Maybe this is what it takes. Time to shine the light on all the times black life didn't matter. Talk your truth, brother. Listen up. Let's get down with this. Because if black lives really mattered, we wouldn't need a movement. Now would we?
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Black Lives Don't Matter podcast. I'm your host, Deron Harris, and this is the only podcast on the internet that makes it a point to highlight all the times that black lives did not matter. Thank you for joining me this week. Today I have the Uncle Tom edition, and what I mean by that over the past election, there were some things on the ballot that were clearly harmful to black people. You know, black and brown people, but really, really black people. Very, very harmful, very divisive and extremely hateful. And as you would now well know, our president-elect is headed back to the White House because the majority of Americans voted against democracy because they were under the illusion that we would continue to have one if we put this person back in office. So now that this person is headed back to office, there are some things that are going to happen in our communities. They're going to cut Medicaid, which, largely black and brown communities benefit from that. The Department of Education, largely black and brown communities, rely on the public education system. That's about to be gone. So education and healthcare are about to be crippled for our communities. And I feel for places like Flint, Michigan. I feel for places like that because their water quality is already shit. Now they're going to have, it's just bad, man. It's just really bad. There's a lot of bad things that are on the horizon for black people, black and brown people, but black people in particular here. And it really is sad to sit here and watch and see the architects of this. And it was very secretive. And that was the thing about it. They worked on this thing for secret in years. For years, they've worked on this thing in secret for years. And one thing I'll give the Republicans, these motherfuckers keep a secret. So they worked on Project 2025 for years. All these things are designed to hurt, marginalized people and further marginalize those people because, nothing unites a country and brings us together like further marginalizing its citizens. But I guess somehow the Republicans think that this is going to work. And this is not political, but it is at the same time. Now, the reason it's political is because this was done through legislation. But the reason it's personal is because of who it was done to and who it was done by and what it was done for. This was designed to cripple us, to further cripple us. And it was designed with so much hatred for our people in mind. And we have to keep that in mind. And people like to say, oh, no, you're race bait, man. Shut the fuck up. Because no, I'm not. Because I'm not afraid to call it out. I'm not afraid to call it as I see it. What you are afraid to do is turn it around and admit that that's what it is. It's actually racism. Okay, I'm done being ginger about it. I'm done holding it in. I'm done being PC. I'm done with all that shit because people need to hear what it is for what it is, and then learn how to connect fucking dots to realize that this is really what it is. It's really racism. Okay, otherwise, some of these things that really kind of turn us back in time, these things would have never occurred without black people's, sole input really, on a lot of these issues. A lot of these things. Our people have fought, died in the streets of this country and have been. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's designed to hurt us. They constructed this thing, and what they did is they put a lot of language behind it and made it so that everybody accepted it because it sounded wow, that really sounds official. That's good, guys. That's really good. I think we're getting somewhere with it, and that's exactly what they did. They created language to confuse and dilute. It's horrible. They did it on purpose. But the fucked up part about it is this. This is the fucked up shit. As divisive as it is, and if you want to check it out for yourself, I got a buddy that on Facebook is now, again, I'm doing this for a second time. Junius, I'm sorry, his name is Junius Jones. This guy is doing Project 2025. He's got some reels out. He's doing Project 2025. He's reading it page by page and going through the minutia for us, because I know a lot of us ain't into reading 900 pages, but this guy is. So if you want to know about Project 2025 in some detail, my man Junius Jones with a J, both with a J, Junius with a J and Jones with a J. His Facebook reels are they informative? And these people put it forward, and these people worked diligently to cripple us, to continue to further cripple us, our health, our education. Because if we don't get good education, then we don't get the jobs. We just don't get it. And if we don't get the jobs, we don't make the money. If we don't make the money, we spiral into poverty. We commit crime. They send out the police to get us and lock us away in these private prisons, once again turning us into slaves. We got to understand it. We got to connect the dots, y'all. We have to connect the dots. But we're not. We too busy watching the Flash. We got to forget the fucking Flash for a minute. We could get back to the Flash once we are in control of our destiny. Okay? We have to get in this country. I know a lot of us like to think, oh yeah, well, I'm doing good for myself. I don't give a fuck. But we're not. All it takes is the snap of a finger and these motherfuckers to say, hey, listen, round them all up. And it's over for us here. Really. If they really wanted to push the issue. The reason why is because we don't have shit. Okay? We don't have anything. And they made sure of it. Okay? They took our properties. Thousands of acres they took from us. Killed our families, lynched people, whole families, just to take our property so that they could create generational wealth, which is what they did and which is where we are now. So when you think about this, you say, wow, they put this, once we went through what we went through and we were able to achieve some things, some great things for our people in this country, and we really did, we made strides, and we made strides not only for us, but for other races. We did that. We built a lot of shit, and we did that. And Project 2025 and everything, the people that are now in office and now this is the playbook are now beginning to, or in January will begin to implement some of these policies. That puts us in a position where, well, fuck. Now we're going backwards in time. But then I sit back and I man, we could have really, but we had people, we had some we had some people that advocated for the wrong side, should I say. And they did that thinking that it was going to benefit them. And they did that thinking that they were one of the gang. And they did that thinking that they were going to have a seat at the table. And I just want to say congratulations to the ones who didn't make the cabinet. And I'm glad you didn't make it. I'm glad you didn't make it, Tim Scott. I'm glad you didn't make it. I'm glad you didn't get selected for shit in the administration. Byron Donaldson, I'm glad you didn't get picked for shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad nobody they just overlooked your fucking ass, Herschel Walker. I'm glad that they overlooked the shit out of you, Candace Owens. I'm glad, Ben Carson, that they fucking tiptoed right over you motherfuckers. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm so glad. Because you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves advocating to have our very history in this country basically erased via the dismissal of the Board of Education. I'm glad that you Uncle Tom ass motherfuckers didn't get shit. I'm glad. Congratulations. 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 We have some lovely parting gifts. I'm glad, man. You know, because you guys had every opportunity in the world to help your people, had to have some morals, and forget your party, your political party, and look at the plight of your people, man. Turn your ass around and look at the plight of your people, man. But you can't. But you didn't. You looked at your party and you were successful and you jumped on the winning bandwagon like so many of our, you know, our heroes in the black community. Some of our heroes, you know, voted against their own interests because they have money. You know, they have money, and there's some of them they're going to benefit, and they will be all right in the new country, in the new world order. That is definitely going to happen. People thinking that is not going to happen. Oh, you're just over exaggerating. Maybe I am. I hope I am. But if I'm not, you're fucked, and so are the rest of us. But the rich folks won't be. They'll be fine. You know, they'll be okay to a degree. If not, they can flee the fucking country whenever they can. But a lot of us won't be able to flee. A lot of us will be trapped here to deal with and live amongst or what's soon to come, which is an authoritarian government, period, with an agenda. They want to erase our history. They want to erase our contributions. And the reason why they want to do it is because, man, they don't love us. They don't care about us. They want to erase what they did to us because they want to appear like they're, you know, and this is going to take generations. This is going to take, by the way, a couple generations to pull off. If they start now implementing Project 2025 and taking all this divisive material, quote unquote, divisive material out of the books, out of the books of the textbooks of our children. And that's our governor here where I live in the state of Florida. Figured out. That guy wants to teach that, you know, slavery was a benefit to black people. That's true. But the homestead, Byron Donaldson, yeah, that guy, he seems to agree that black people benefited from slavery. I'm glad you Uncle Tom ass motherfucker that he overlooked your shit, that he stepped right over your dog shit ass. I'm glad. And listen, I'm not mad. You know, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You know why I'm not mad? Because I know something about black people that maybe Byron Donaldson and, you know, other white folk like Candace Owens and Herschel Walker, maybe they didn't realize about black people, but black people are resilient people. We are resilient people, okay? We have been held underwater for a long time, and we're still down there, and we are still here. And we're going to be here. And you'll never be rid of us. And another thing to you guys, Candace, and Byron, and Tim, and Herschel, and Ben, you'll never be able to wash it off. You'll never be able to smile big enough. You'll never be able to have enough plastic surgery to get rid of your fucking nose. And it doesn't matter how much you think you're integrated. They all look at you amongst themselves and they still see you as a bunch of niggas. Don't you forget that, because I think maybe you have. My name is Deron Harris, and this has been the Black Lives Don't Matter podcast. Peace.